Great to have you both in the studio, and everything Special Olympics in the last few weeks has been very topical, especially with the talk about the bid that's been possibly put together for Perth in 2027. But also the most important thing is we want to talk about Michael's achievements and his love for running. So Michael, welcome to Talking Sport. Great to have you on the show, and thanks very much for coming in. Now, I've been reading up about you. You're a good little runner, aren't you? Now, what's the reason for loving running?
I went to Tasmania to represent the Special Olympics, and I won.
Because it's fun.
And you won. Well done. And now you said you were down in Tasmania. Did you know that Sarah and I are from Tasmania, and you went down to Launceston, which is where we grew up? And did you have a great time down there?
It was a good spot, wasn't it? Yeah.
So you were in the 100-metre sprint and the 4x100-metre relay. Which of those was your favourite?
One of them was my favourite because I got to do one of the running, and it wasn't that hard. It was actually easy, and it was.
It's all right. I'm just going to move your mic just a little bit closer. There we go.
And did you get to run with your mates in the relay? That's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. And how did you go in the relay? Which was the one you won gold in?
It was in the
Relay.
in the relay race, and I got a gold medal. And
Wow.
I ran.
In the 100-metre sprint?
I ran in the 100-metre sprint, and
Did you get there?
second, I think.
You got a bronze?
Yeah.
Oh, bronze
Wow.
medal. Wow.
Wow. So you generally get in the top three when you compete. Well, that's a pretty good effort.
And I also have here that you represented the school this year in your cross country. Wow. Do you like cross country as well, or do you prefer the shorter races?
I like
Mm-hmm. Maybe for you.
I like your confidence, Michael. I like your confidence. Well done.
I think it's to stay away from Dad, to be honest. But how far did you run in the cross country?
probably,
Was it 2 kilometres?
yeah.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
Yeah, I'm getting old, Michael. So 2 kilometres for me is a bit of a struggle. So you're showing me up. So that's a great effort to be able to run that distance, and it sounds like you're very talented at it. So we're very impressed, aren't we, SD?
Absolutely. Now, Neil, a question to you. Michael has a very interesting story, and has overcome many challenges or worked with a few restrictions in his life to be such a successful athlete. Could you tell us a little bit about that for our listeners?
Well, the reality is that Michael is a living, walking miracle. So he was never going to really make it, and he was born with a massive hole in the heart and lots of other complications. And the nurses all said goodbye to him, and the doctors told us they didn't think he'd make it. We should have known then the sort of person Michael was going to turn out to be. And when when you take a child home that's had those sort of difficulties, they give you talk to about what to expect. And we were told that he may well not talk, and he almost certainly wouldn't walk. And I think it's clear from Michael's determination he's got where he's got because of all the children I've I've ever met. He's got the biggest and the strongest determination.
He's a little fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, never gives in, and doesn't matter what situation is when he's running or swimming. When he gets out of the pool or off the track, there's left nothing out there. It doesn't matter whether he's 100 metres behind or 100 metres in front. He gives it absolutely everything and tries his hardest every time. So it's a real pleasure to go and watch. Even obviously as a father, I might be remotely biased.
That's okay. You're allowed to be.
But I think most people would agree that, watching him is an inspiration.
Yes.
Clearly, Michael, because of his hole in the heart, had a stroke.
Right.
At 6 weeks, and that gave him cerebral palsy. And I reckon it would have been a fair bet in the cross-country competition. It was a normal school event. He would have been the only child there running with cerebral palsy. And so to compete and complete the races, for us was an amazing thing. And all we asked is that he run the whole way and that he smiled as he crossed the line, which he did both very, very brightly. It was a great afternoon for us.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing your story. And you do have an amazing smile, Michael.
Absolutely.
It lights up the room. Now, did I hear swimming as well? So you also like to swim? And what kind of swimming do you like to do? Do you like freestyle? Do you do a bit of that?
Yeah, I do freestyle a lot. And backstroke and survival backstroke and
What about breaststroke? You do
breaststroke.
Yeah, that's probably about it, really, isn't it?
Well, that's a pretty good combination.
It certainly is. Do you have a favourite stroke?
Freestyle.
Freestyle.
Wow. So to learn all these strokes, did you have coaching or did teachers at school teach you? Coaching, wow. Maybe there's still a chance for me, SD. Maybe I need some coaching because I'm not much of a swimmer. But that's fantastic. And you like swimming because your sister swims as well? Great. So you're both very close and you get to compete and enjoy the sport together. Fantastic.
So, Neil, obviously sport's a big part of your family unit. How often would you get out and about and participate in sport?
Probably not as often as we would actually like. I mean, the kids train hard, but because of all the disabilities and the obstacles that are created by those disabilities, there aren't, in my opinion, anywhere near enough competitions or inclusion. I mean, that sports are getting better. There's no question that they've got a lot better just in our period of time. It's improved out of sight and coaches have got better and people's understanding has got better, but we've still got such a long way to go to give these kids the opportunity to compete in normal competitions, but also to be able to compete under conditions that make it possible for them to be competitive. No one wants to be so far behind that you just can't. You can't be competitive and people can't be waiting, but adjustments to competitions can be easily made to create an atmosphere that allows them to compete, and that's where things like Special Olympics become such a critical factor in their life, is that it brings all those people together to be able to compete in a competition that is highly competitive and very highly skilled, but against their peers, against people that they can compete with on a one-to-one basis and also be friends with, and people who understand the difficulties that confront them getting to certain parts of the. Some people have got sensory issues, and others are like Michael that have got a cerebral palsy issue that make life difficult, but there's no reason why, as Michael has shown, that you can't be out there doing it. They just need that little bit of extra support and that little bit of extra understanding, and that's where Special Olympics is just so important.
Well, part of our contribution is SD and I will be involved with the polar plunge coming up next week. So we're trying to do our best to help with some awareness out there, and also for the cause of raising money. Obviously, it's very costly for the athletes to compete and get away. So I'm a little bit nervous, OSD. It's going to be a little bit chilly, but that's what it's all about. You've got to get out there and do something to get some awareness out there, and it's going to be a great event. We're looking forward to it. So up there at Hillary's Boat Harbour, we met Chris Newman, who's very much involved with it, and he's talked us into doing the plunge. And in fact, IPL Radio will be doing a live broadcast up there. So we're really looking forward to being part of it. It's really exciting, and we hope that we can contribute to getting some more awareness for the Special Olympics.
That would be great, and a great opportunity for people to come along and support and see the athletes in action. And
yes,
certainly Len and Michael will be jumping in, but I tested the water temperature. It's not 26.5 degrees.
No,
it's the only time I go swimming.
I'm thinking I might bring the wetsuit. What do you think, SD?
Oh, I don't know. But you mentioned earlier about the Special Olympics. Obviously, Perth does have a bid at the moment to try and be the host of 2027. IPL Radio is strongly behind that. We're doing everything we can to promote that cause. But what would having the Special Olympics in Perth mean to you and your children?
For the kids, it's just such an amazing opportunity to be able to compete in front of their family and friends. And obviously, they've never had Special Olympics in Australia ever, World Games. And so it would mean if they were to be able to get in the Australian side, and there's an if about that, but if they were, they'd have to travel overseas if we don't have the opportunity to do it here. And 2027, at least for my two, is the perfect timing. They're the right age, and it would be a great opportunity, but also just the awareness and the chance for people to realise that the entertainment of watching these guys perform is just unbelievable. And anybody that's ever been to any of these competitions and watches the way they, the effort and the endeavour and the courage that many of these athletes take just to get in the water or on the track, it's just so awe-inspiring, and it's an opportunity of once in a lifetime that it might come to Perth. And, like the terrible thing for us is if we don't get it here, it's an opportunity walked out the door for WA as well. 8,000 athletes would come over. There is 20,000 support workers with them, family and friends, up to 100,000, 500,000 supporters.
It's huge.
It's a massive, massive event. And obviously for my two, the chance to compete at that level, if they were able to get into the Australian team, would be just a chance in a lifetime, and it would be such a massive pity if it walks out the door and we don't take that opportunity.
Yeah, well, I've heard that probably the best way that listeners out there can help, or if you're watching live off Facebook, is try and give some support by writing into your local politician or the council and show your support of what it can mean to these guys, to try and get them to get back it and make it happen. It would be absolutely fantastic, and it'd be great to see Michael or Lena, getting in the team and really enjoying being part of the event. But SD, we've got another special guest. We can't leave her without having a chat. So let's go to a break, and when we come back, we'll have a chat to Lena, and she can explain what she loves about the Special Olympics and all her achievements.
Thank you very much, Michael. We've had a great time chatting with you, and all the very best in your athletics, but also in your swimming.